say to Gabriel Stein, who is Chief International Economist with Lombard Street Research. Gabriel, welcome. There is anger out there, clearly, not only on the streets out there, but among people who aren't on the streets at the moment, at the fact that this crisis happened at all, at the money that's been given to the banks and what many of the banks have done with it. Is this summit going to fix that?
No, I'm afraid not. Summits rarely fix things, and in order for them to fix anything, the summiteers have to meet more or less agreed on what they intend to do and then just iron out the last details, and this is not the case here.
There is a view, I know, I've read your stuff, that since the 15th century, princes meeting like this has been a total waste of time.
Almost a total waste of time, I agree. Part of the reason is, of course, or at least in the 15th century, was princes who met couldn't weasel out of agreements they made, but much more importantly, when you have a summit like this, it is far too important for everyone that it be perceived as a success. So they mustn't be allowed to fail. So if they don't have an agreement, there will be an empty platitudinous communique, as there will be now, and we know it because it's already been written, more or less, and it's already been leaked, more or less. There will be some changes. There will be one or two tangible results coming out of this, but it's not going to fix the world economy, and that's because the political leaders in different countries stand far too far apart.
If there isn't that much to be said for the G20 itself, surely there is more to be said for these face-to-face meetings, these bilaterals, the G2s as people call them, between Barack Obama and the Chinese president and the Russian president.
That's perfect. Well, Russia, frankly, is a tiny little country that happens to have a lot of nuclear weapons, and it's very insignificant in world affairs. But yes, of course, from that point of view, I'm sure it's helpful for Barack Obama and Hu Jintao to meet and so on. But do we really have to have this whole circus costing enormous amounts of money and disrupting people's lives for it? I doubt it.
Costing about £20 million, I think. Just very briefly, though, if this summit isn't the answer, what is?
There are a couple of things. Let me put it this way. What should come out of this summit as an ideal wish list? That would be an agreement on a fiscal stimulus everywhere, an agreement to avoid protectionism, and an agreement on exchanging regulatory information. That last thing will happen. The other two will not happen. That's a shame. That would have been a good idea. You don't need a summit for that. That would have been helpful, but as I said, it's not going to happen.
Gabriel Stein, thank you very much indeed. Well, let's take you now to 10 Downing Street, where I can say the leaders of the world's industrialised nations are enjoying dinner. Now, the BBC's Ross Hawkins, I think, is there. Ross, it's been noticed there seems to be a particularly good relationship between Michelle Obama and the British Queen.
Yes, absolutely. They looked very pally when they were at Buckingham Palace.